There's a tornado watch in effect for a portion of West Texas. Brian Chadwick is with the county sheriff's office in Sweetwater.
We're trying to get the word out to the community to brace themselves. We just hope this thing's not going to develop into a real funnel, but after Saragossa, we're not taking any chances.
And the National Weather Service says the storm is moving northeast, and with the exception of some rain, it shouldn't affect the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That's news, sports, and weather. I'm Frank Castle for KGAB Talk Radio News.
From the heart of the Lone Star State, it's time for Dallas's most popular talk show, Night Talk with Barry Champlain.
Okay, so the reason I chose this film as an introduction to my new sharing film series is because it's kind of why I'm here, doing this thing called podcasting and content creating. Long story short, after I saw this movie, I was so passionate about being a radio announcer or a talk radio host, it led me to a life of doing a pirate radio show. I was on a terrestrial radio morning show as a co-host, and now I'm here doing podcasting. Kind of all in the same bag and kind of what inspired me from this movie. So let's dig into talk radio. Talk radio was released in 1988 and was directed by Oliver Stone. It would be a bridge between Platoon and Wall Street, and then Born on the 4th of July, The Doors, and JFK. It was kind of a break from Stone's 80s and early 90s blockbuster hits, which is why I think it didn't find its audience it deserved, but we'll discuss that later. Talk radio was written by Eric Bogosian and Oliver Stone, but part of the story was based on Alan Berg, an American attorney / talk radio host who was known for his controversial and liberal views. The rest of the screenplay is mostly from the play of the same name written by Ted Savinar and Eric Bogosian. The film features Bogosian, who you might know from, say, Law & Order Criminal Intent, or that bad guy from Under Siege 2. He's also an iconic writer and monologuist. He plays the lead character in pretty much the entire focus of the movie, Barry Champlain, an on-the-edge talk radio host dripping with sarcasm and self-hate. Some of the other major players are John C. McGinley, who you may know from, I think, every Oliver Stone movie in the 80s and early 90s. He's this guy, and this guy, and this guy. Oh, yeah, and he's this guy in this. He is funny and convincing as Barry's engineer. Alec Baldwin also stars. You may know him from Team America. Ellen Greene plays Barry's ex-wife. You might know her from The Little Shop of Horrors. There are a few other members of the cast, but coming from the setting of a one-man play, most of the camera time belongs to Bogosian.
I enjoy listening to your show, and I want to say, I like you Jews.
Well, I like you blacks. I think everyone should own one.
Well, no, what I mean to say is, I have many friends who are Jewish.
No, really, how many?
Well, 3 or 4.
I wouldn't call that many.
They're very nice people. They're very educated, and they're good at business.
Yeah, John, I don't know how to break this to you, but you never got into the B'nai breath. I mean, you're black. Don't you know how Jews feel about blacks? They hate you. They see you Schwarzes on the street, they cross to the other side. I mean, you know those slums in South Dallas where the rats eat little babies for breakfast? Jews own those slums. What do you mean I love Jews? Are you some kind of Uncle Tom or something?
Well, what the hell do you know about Uncle Tom? I think Brotherhood
I
is the
don't
foundation
care
of...
what you think. No one does. You want to know why? Because you're trying to kiss the master's butt, that's why.
What?
You call me up, you're trying to get deep with me how much you love Jews. You're lying. You hate them. You hate me. Admit
I don't
it.
kiss nobody's butt.
Sure you do. You kiss my butt. You're kissing it right now. If you weren't, you'd hang up on me.
I don't want to hang up on you.
Then I'll do you the favor. Night talk. Debbie, you're on.
Much like another recent movie Bogosian co-starred in, Uncut Gems, this movie is full of high-tension, uncomfortable moments and dark comical takes. Whether you like Barry or not, you still feel for what he's going through. Like Sandler's character in Gems, you hope he gets something right, but deep down you know he's just going to self-sabotage it. The plot is basically broken down to Barry's show getting ready to go national, which is just the start of Barry's stress. He's also involved with his female producer, which brings more stress of commitment and what he actually wants. There's a second plot line that has to do with Barry's ex-wife and a trip she makes to see him because he begged her to. But right from the get-go, you can tell it's for selfish reasons. Ellen Greene does a wonderful job of showing the pain of loving a person but realizing you can never be with them because they never meet their promises or expectations. We also get to see some of Barry's personal life off the air, which portrays him as another kind of talker. He's smooth with constantly trying to sell himself, but most times he ends up being an asshole. It's like he can't help it. We see a flashback midway through as to how he got his first radio job and proceeded to, for lack of a better word, talk his way to the top and then destroy his personal life. Where this movie really shines for me is the scenes that take place in the studio. Eric Bogosian, who knows this character in and out, is thrilling to watch just talk. Hence the name Talk Radio, I would assume. The way he interacts with the whole cast of Out There callers is weaponized and laced with sarcasm and controversial humor. The callers are intriguing as well, some sad, racist, or just strange. Man, a call with an unknown rapist is very uncomfortable and disturbing. Puts a little bit of reality into perspective. Some of the callers are people you may know. Park Overall, who you may know from Golden Girls spinoff Empty Nest, does an amazing job of voicing several different callers. And Michael Wincott, who kicked ass as Top Dollar in The Crow, voices one of the callers, and he even gets some camera time as a doped out party monster who could pass for Steven Tyler in a minute.
We've brought Kent on board to get an inside look at the future of America. Kent is the classic American youth, energetic and resourceful, spoiled, perverse, and disturbed. Would you say that's an accurate description, Kent?
Yep, sure.
Yeah, what do you call that haircut?
Oh, no. Rock and roll.
Are you high right now, Kent?
Am I high?
Are you on drugs, or is this your naturally moronic self? Watch the drool, you're getting it all over the console.
Can't believe I'm here, man. Hey, does this thing really work?
You're sitting in a radio station, Kent. You're sitting in front of a live mic. When you speak, thousands of people hear your voice. It penetrates their minds.
Okay, no, I want to send that one out to Diamond Dave and Billy the bass player and all the babes at the Valley View Mall.
But going national, fighting with his producer / lover, dealing with his ex-wife, and constant nagging by his boss about how important all this is, brings all the tension to the studio in the second half of the film. As things heat up on and off the air, Barry becomes unhinged and begins to lash out by self-sabotaging everything. Another great thing in this movie is the editing. It provides everything you need in the way of emotion for a movie that spends 75% of the time in a radio studio. I will save the ending for you to discover, but if you know the Alan Berg story, you're already aware of the tragic finale. If I could say one thing about the ending, though, it's the cinematography during Barry's ending monologue. There's an incredible use of the camera to give you the feeling Barry has of no hope and everything just closing in. As Barry quotes his ex-wife Ellen near the end of the film, Barry Champlain is a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there, which is the perfect fit for this character. But I visit him at least once a year, and I still love the role and what Bogosian accomplished with it. This is really an unsung movie in Oliver Stone's career, which I think is a combo of poor marketing, people mistakenly thinking it was about Howard Stern, and the fact that Bogosian was not really somebody anybody knew at the time. With a long career writing and performing on stage, he really had only done a few TV and movie roles before this. Oh, one last thing. This movie does hold an 82% fresh on the tomato site and thumbs up from Roger Ebert. So maybe that's another thing to sway you into finding this film and giving it a watch for yourself. Thank you, everybody, for letting me share this with you, and I hope you'll do the same in the comment section. Who knows, maybe I'll watch one of your movies and share it on here. Thanks, guys.